Hello, what does your startup do?
Hey, Tony. Thanks for taking the time. So we're Foresight. What we do is we create AI models that simulate real consumers for CPG marketing teams to run market research.
What are CPG companies and what are examples of projects you would run for them?
Yeah, absolutely. So like CPG, that means consumer packaged goods. It's essentially food and beverage on the one hand, cosmetics on the other hand, so cosmetics, personal care, and then there's other categories like home improvement, etc. It's essentially all the products you can buy, packaged good you can buy at Walmart, Whole Foods, and all that. And so the way we work with them is, we work with product development teams, so the people like creating new products who need to know if the new product, like what kind of packaging they should have, what kind of claims they should have on the packaging, what's the price
Mm.
point, who's the target population. So that's one of the people we work with, product development. Second one is marketing and communication, which is essentially testing new ad campaign, out of home campaigns, on billboards, TV spots, to ensure that the message is going to be very clear for the target audience.
Gotcha. So that way when they launch the product, the target audience would buy it more and they would understand what the
Exactly.
gotcha. Huh, interesting. So how does AI know what the consumers would want?
So the way it works is, the way our product works, we work on two legs. We have a data leg, so ensuring that, we have the right data on consumers, what they think, what they want, what they like, and we have a model AI leg, so, ensuring that we take the right data and we operationalize it in the right way to extract like consumer preferences from this data. So starting with the data leg, so, we have demographic data, who the consumers are. So that's going to come from, mainly like census and like online, like data from like yes, census, government, etc. Then economic data, socioeconomic on what they buy, average basket, retail data, and the last one is going to be behavioral on what they prefer. It's going to coming from like previous surveys, previous focus groups, coming from trends, coming from online and offline stated preferences. So that's our database. And then on top of that, we add our clients' data. So, work with large brands, so mid-market and enterprise CPG. And with these brands, they all have like troves of like, internal sales data and CRM data and ads data and everything. And we use that to train our models specifically on their needs and on how their specific consumers will behave. So that's the data part. And then the model part is we've developed our own internal models, our own internal harnesses to ensure that we can, operationalize this data as well as possible to fit the behavior of the actual like end consumer. And when we test that, we've tested these models with Fortune 500 companies. We've tested them with like global CPG, personal care, food and beverage leaders, and we're at about 95% accuracy in predicting how the consumers will react to a new product, to a new marketing campaign.
Gotcha. Huh, interesting. So you have all the data from what they like. Does it change over time? Like, do people's preferences change over time? So is data able to model changes as well?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the best example is like how many like sunscreen people buy is not going to be the same, or
Okay.
how much sunscreen people buy is not going to be the same in July and in December, right? Of course. And trends evolve so within the year, over years, etc. But to ensure that we can account for that, we refresh our behavioral layer, behavioral data, refresh it every week to ensure that the insights that we give to our clients are the insights from like right now and not from like 6 months ago or 12 months ago. It's always very like very actualized.
Gotcha. Huh, interesting. Are you able so you'll be able to like capture these are the changes in the population over time, and then you could predict like where it'll be in the future as well. So you could.
So I mean, we don't like say that we can predict the future. We're very clear about the use cases. The way our clients use it, or the way we tell our clients to use it, is these are people who have done like surveys and focus groups in the past. Like a
Okay.
survey from Ipsos or Kantar or Nielsen or like all these surveys
Okay.
providers, or maybe like in-house with Qualtrics, for instance. And so like you don't use a survey to predict the future. You can use a survey to like have an idea of what future trends are going to be like. And so we do like this future trends analysis, but you don't use it to predict the future, of course. And so
Yeah.
the way we're presenting our product and marketing it, putting it to market, Essentially, it's a cheaper and faster alternative to surveys and to focus groups without losing any, kind of accuracy of like qualitative accuracy and quantitative accuracy.
Gotcha. So those people, these customers of yours are already doing surveys. So this is just fits into their workflow as well.
Exactly. And we have companies, clients who work with us who are like billion-dollar companies who have replaced they used to do like a lot of surveys and a lot of focus groups. And it's very very long, very expensive. One
Okay.
survey in the US can be like 5 figures, 6 figures. And we have clients who have replaced 100% of like all their surveys and everything with us and all their market research with us
Gotcha.
because they're just seeing we're so much faster without compromising on accuracy on or
Gotcha.
on statistical strength. Yeah.
Well, when they do these surveys, are they usually trying to confirm like intuition that they already have? Or are they trying to like predict something new or find a surprise that they wouldn't have otherwise? Like what's usually the goal of the survey?
So, I mean, it can be like I think I'm going to go in a direction. I want to have like a validation for my manager or my the C-suite of the company to
Okay.
like make them comfortable in going in that direction. But most of the time, survey is a new data point on something where your team doesn't have any idea, any intuition, right? And so, you want to like launch a new product or in a market that you don't understand very well, maybe. And then you're going to do a survey that helps you like understand the consumers that you want to target, your ICP, and that's how you're going to think about like what kind of new product, what product angle, what marketing angle you're going to use. So without surveys, there's this whole understanding the market that you want to target, everything crumbles down, and that's why it's so important for these companies. At the same time, there's been this tension for like 50 years, like for the longest time, because very important to understand how your product is going to work, to understand your clients, and at the same time, like so expensive, so long that you just like cannot do like as much as you'd like. And we work with some of the largest CPG companies in the world, and they tell us before working with you, we used to test like maybe 4 or 5% of our decisions. And today, like some of these clients that tested so few of their decisions, today they test like 100% of or like close to 100% of their decisions.
Gotcha. And then like I guess the ones with like higher uncertainties, they could do like a more in-person survey, real person
Exactly.
survey.
Yeah, exactly. And we also, which is very interesting, right?
Hmm.
There's been like some talk within the what's called the insights industry around how does this new do these new models, what some people call synthetic insights, what we do, how does that fit within the industry? But actually, what we think is this is actually growing the industry, and it's like a very good thing for the industry. We have clients who like very very large brands, leaders in their markets in the US, multiple hundreds of millions of dollars in revenue, who never did any surveys, never did any consumer research because they thought they really knew their market. And today, because they've started using us, they've started saying, "Wow, this is amazing," and I need to like way more research actually.
Hmm.
They're using us, they're doing more surveys, more everything, more research. And I think it's a very good thing for the industry at large because we're growing it and creating new habits about testing before actually launching a product.
Yeah, that makes sense. So you can do so much more testing now as a result.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. It's like I've met marketers who are like quantitative marketers and I've also met marketers who are qualitative marketers. Like where does this fall into? Is it quantitative or qualitative?
So we do both. We do surveys, which is going to tell you like what's the distribution of like how people respond. 20% respond A, 50% respond B, etc. And we also do focus groups, so qualitative, where you have the way it works today is you have 20 people in a room or in a Zoom, and you ask them, okay, so like what do you think about that? And you get like verbatims, and it helps you understand how people think a bit more deeply, but it's
Mm,
not
okay.
statistically significant. So we there's both angles are very important, and both fit into each other, so we do both today.
So you get like numbers and you also get some good quotes to use as
Exactly,
well.
yeah.
So you can like synthetically create the quotes as well
Yeah,
of what
yeah,
like somebody
absolutely.
would say. Huh, very, very cool. Very, very cool. So like in surveys, there's a lot of like errors. There's like sampling errors, and there's also is and sometimes they don't tell the truth on the surveys as
Yeah.
well. So sometimes there's some people you can't reach that, but you really want to reach them, but you can't reach them. Like does synthetic data solve all those problems?
So, I mean, there's a lot of things here. The first thing you mentioned, I think, is about sampling, and that's why we're so like hell bent on like being sure that the first kind of like data layer that we put is the demographic data to ensure that we have like good representativity of the populations that we were interrogating. And, we have like data from actual like surveys and focus group and from more like census data to ensure that every sample, every sample focus group that we're doing, survey that we're doing is going to be representative. So that's the first thing. Second question I think you had was on the what we call say-do gap in the research industry, which is essentially people like saying something and then doing something else. I'm going to say like I like to eat very healthily, but at the same time, like a hamburger on a Sunday night sounds very good to me, so I might do that as well. That's a say-do gap, right? And because I was mentioning like the 95% accuracy that we have against field results from survey. What we measured actually is when we have some discrepancies, is we're also a bit closer to what people actually do compared to the like what the survey was getting. The reason for that is in our training data, either like our own or the one from our client, we also take retail data and point of sale data and what people actually buy. And like people might say something and they might not lie, but be a bit deceptive in what they say. But when they buy something, they're going to be very aligned in their purchasing behavior compared to what they actually like, because like people are very cautious about what they buy, etc. And so because we have like this like intent data on purchasing, we are like sometimes way more accurate than what like traditional surveys would do. That's something that our clients really like.
Interesting. So it's like more accurate as a result.
It has yeah, we've seen it to be more like in certain cases where
Okay.
like the survey there was this big say do gap. We've seen it being more accurate because we
Gotcha.
have like actual purchasing behavior and not just like stated intent data.
Hmm. So where is like the limitation of the AI synthetic data then compared to real world?
So the first thing is, for instance, as I told you, we work with CPG. CPG is like mass market consumption. We've had inbound from people like in the luxury industry, for instance, who were
Okay.
asking us like, can you help us for like specific questions, like for a like target population that's very hard to reach with like traditional surveys, and we don't have many data points on them. If they don't have like if they're very hard to reach, they don't have many data points for these populations, we will have a hard time reaching them as well. And so, we told them, I mean, I'm not going to invent anything. Every single data point that we give to our clients is always grounded in a lot of like ground truth data. So when we don't have data, for instance, for like very hard to reach, very niche populations on luxury, for instance, then we are
Mhm.
just like not making it up, and we're just like telling them not today, maybe like in a few years when you come back to us.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's like fewer people buy luxury, so there's fewer of
So,
them.
yeah, so it's hard to get the right data. Absolutely.
Gotcha. And they don't fill out the surveys, so then it's like
Yeah,
hard.
exactly. And they're very, very discreet about like the way they consume.
Hmm. Gotcha. So it's better for like the mass market goods, like the Whole Foods goods, where so many people buy it.
Exactly. So right now we're focused on CPG. We've had like very interesting proof of concepts on like specific B2B examples, like in
Okay.
tech maybe and other stuff. But right now we're focused on CPG, where like our models are the most accurate and where we know we're very good there.
Gotcha. Huh. There's like I took a marketing class at
Yeah.
Cornell. There's like different like the decision frameworks that people have when they're like buying something. Are you able to like model like why they buy it, or is it just like whether they'll buy it or not? Like, are you able to figure out why they buy it?
Yeah, so on the why, that's where the qualitative answers are interesting and are important. And then the thing that's very powerful is okay, so you get the like how many people are going to buy it, but then you can just ask verbatims. You can say, would you buy it on a scale from like 1 to 5? And then why would you buy it? And then like in this why
Okay.
would you buy it, you get like all the right answers, all the reasons behind it, super rich to get the right kind of like go to the bottom of the why.
Gotcha. And is the ideal workflow that like after they use your synthetic data, do they go out there and then they release in the market and they come back to you again? So you help them analyze what happened and then you
Yeah,
can have a
absolutely,
feedback
absolutely,
loop?
yeah, yeah, absolutely. Because as I was saying, we because we can integrate the our clients' data into our model to like self-improve our model to have like this reinforcement learning loop over our models to ensure that they're going to learn and be better. Essentially, when we have feedback on the predictions we made, if we made a wrong prediction, which can always happen in like any kind of prediction model, then we improve our model to ensure that with this new data point, it's going to get better the next time.
Gotcha. Well, walk me through the feedback loop. Like, what does the feedback look like? So the client, the CPG uses your survey, comes up with, we'll change the packaging this way. Then what happens after that? What's like the ideal feedback loop that gets created?
So the way it works is, they're going to say, okay, so we're going to help them on the like concept and on packaging and then on claims and pricing and everything. And so, we've tested everything. In the end, we have a product. We predict like the purchasing intent total. So that allows us, to create models where we tell them, okay, so we think that's going to work at like that's going to be like such and such revenue in such and such like such and such markets, and such and such performances. And then they actually launch it on the market, and what I'm saying like works also very well for like marketing campaigns. They're going to launch it on the market, and then they come back to us with performance metrics, and we can just like see, okay, so we predicted it would perform at X, and it actually did Y. So we
Hmm.
have like a small gap, so we're going to like change slightly our model. We're going to see with this improved version if we can like close that gap, and then once we have like this improved model that closed the gap, then we use the best model for the next
Gotcha.
prediction.
Do you have to do like A/B testing or to extract that signal out? Like, how do you extract the signal out of the real world data and feed it back into the model?
So for that, no, the way it works is we just take the point of sale data, new point of sale data. We do, I mean, we have like all like specific data science like workflows to extract like the specific contribution of each individual element that we tested. But because we have like only, let's say, one data point in the end for like one market, just how well it performs. We don't have, the performance of the product that we optimized versus the product that we didn't optimize. They're just going to launch one product and not two different products.
Okay.
So we can't really like, A/B test between like different
Hmm.
products. We're just going to say, okay, so we predicted that we're at that point, and that's we have like specific models that allow us to infer where it would have been had we not actually, made any intervention on the product.
Yeah. Huh. Interesting. That makes sense. It's like so many variables that go into it though. Like if it's extra hot for a couple of weeks, then more people buy some more bottled water. It's very variable. Everything's so
Yeah,
interconnected.
absolutely. That's why, we're looking like in aggregate. We're not looking at like specific spot data on one day, for instance.
Gotcha.
That would make little sense. Yeah.
Hmm. When you're choosing like what to build, like how do you pick to do it for everybody and rather than just like very good at ice cream data or very good on parents of toddlers? Like how did you pick to do overall rather than go niche?
So, I mean, CPG in itself is kind of a niche. Like market research for CPG is kind of a niche where like the needs and the workflows are very similar. Actually, we started by thinking, okay, so maybe we can just do like personal care in CPG and like start with
Mm.
dermocosmetics, like face creams and everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we thought, okay, so well, we have like these very good workflows. We've tested it, benchmarked it. It works very well, we're very happy. And then we had this inbound from a company in the food and beverage industry, who like, who told us, I mean, can we test your models with, with our specific like food and beverage product? And we tested it and it performed just as well because because the workflows are similar and the way people consume these like CPG mass market products in general are pretty similar and the motivations behind like consumption is actually pretty similar, then we had something that was very transferable within CPG from one category to another. Now, that's why we stay within CPG and we don't go somewhere else, is we know we're very good in these categories and we don't want to go somewhere else where right now, we it would be a distraction for us.
Gotcha. That's why you focus on CPG.
Yeah, CPG is already a niche for us.
Gotcha. And the market is really big.
No, I mean, yeah, CPG is huge. I mean, like you can just see like everything that you drink, you buy is essentially all you use like to personal care in your house. Everything is CPG. So like it's already this huge market. But yeah, we don't want to be too much at once.
What would the world be like what would the world be like if every CPG company uses yours and then they understand the customers perfectly? Would like everybody be happier because they have everything perfectly customized to them? Like what does the world look like
Well,
if
I
this
mean,
is like the future?
the first thing is today, like about 90% of CPG products fail. Like you have like when you do a CPG launch, between 85 to 90% of them are failures. And
Oh, they fail.
yeah, which is huge,
Oh,
right? I mean,
gee.
and it's like it's already priced in the P&L of our clients. But at the same time, like they have like huge needs, and that's why today they work on very small margins because of that. but they have like huge needs. So, okay, so like, is there a better way to test my product to have like good consumer feedback, reliable consumer feedback without spending like $100,000 on a couple surveys? And so, first of all, like, there's this huge internal business need. So that's the first thing. Second thing is, I've like, there's been like multiple instances that's a personal experience, but where I go to Whole Foods or Walmart or Kroger's or Trader Joe's or I don't know what, and I'm thinking I want like a specific product, and I was a bit frustrated because uh, either like the products that I could find in the category were not very aligned with what I wanted, or like there were like products that actually were aligned, but because like the marketing was like so unrecognizable and
Mm.
undifferentiated, like it took me like I don't know how many like way longer than I should have to actually like find it, right? And so if I can be like, like helping like the companies like have products that work better and the consumers find the products that are important for them faster, I mean, I'd be very happy about that outcome.
Yeah, then they fill up the shopping cart faster, the bigger
Exactly. Yeah.
shopping cart.
Yeah, absolutely.
Huh, that makes sense. It's like now like you can like open your phone, tell Siri or tell Gemini, I want some ice cream. Buy me some ice cream and ship it to me.
Yeah.
Like is that are you able to like predict what the Gemini would buy as a result? Like is it the AI making decisions in the future as well? So
No, so the way we're seeing it is like this is like more of a like personal shopper like experience where like one Gemini instance or one Claude or one like ChatGPT instance like knows you very well, and so it can say, well, that person likes such and such flavor, so I'm going to buy like this product from Walmart and just ship it to them. What we're doing instead is we have like this huge distribution of like general consumer like consumer behavior, consumer preferences, and we're sampling over the distribution, and so, we're doing in a way a like Monte Carlo analysis on this distribution to find what's the right like underlying preferences across like, how people would react to a new packaging or a price point or etc. Right? And so
hmm,
it's more like aggregate behaviors rather than like individual behaviors.
interesting. I know in healthcare they're trying to like aggregate a lot of people's individual things into one big data set so they can run like population studies on.
Yeah, I mean it's crazy. It's like there's some very interesting stuff to be done in healthcare as well. It's way more regulated. It's way like there's some ethical concerns as well about like if you like do like for healthcare specifically you need to like individual level what's called digital twins like models, individual models that replicate like one to one very precisely on very like sensitive like medical data, how people like react, etc. That's way more sensitive. And so I wanted to start with something which was a bit more mass markets before going into
Gotcha.
other more sensitive markets.
Yeah. I've been thinking like if everybody starts using their smartphone to be their personal shopper who knows them perfectly, then over time, then the smartphone data, the smartphones, they would know so much about the person's buying
Yeah,
preferences and everything.
absolutely. And I mean, in the end, it's just like it's what we're doing, starting with CPG, is creating these more general purposes prediction models. Like prediction has gone from like linear regression to machine learning to what want to be like the next step of actual like prediction, which is like these general purpose prediction models. In the same way that NLP, natural language processing, has gone from uh, like like very very narrow or more narrow models towards like general purpose LLMs. So we want to to have that revolution of like prediction models with our specific ways of doing that with the same kind of revolution that has happened with LLMs on NLP.
Hmm. I look at like Amazon. Amazon is like full stack. It
Yeah.
manufactures a lot of like basic goods, and then it also knows so much about the buying patterns of all the its like Prime members, and so it's able to connect the full stack together. Like, what is that like the ideal version where you know the buyers and you know the manufacturers, so you can connect the two?
I think like there's some version of doing that which is very interesting. There's some legal issues and ethical issues around like creating these like actual like prediction models at the individual level where you can sell that this prediction to like sellers and telling them you should like have this very personalized product for like such and such specific buyer. So today there's some issues around that which we circumvent by going like with these general models that predict general, population behaviors rather than individual behaviors.
It's more aggregated.
Exactly, yeah.
And most of the CPG is like currently bought like at the store. So you don't even know who walks in what store?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, there's like adjacent to CPG is going to be DTC, direct to consumer, where you buy directly on their website, on their e-commerce website. But yeah, CPG is like mostly in store.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Yeah, that's why the population, like you know the population of the area, so you know who
Exactly.
will eventually walk through your store and you can predict it.
Exactly.
Huh, very, very cool. And you went through Y Combinator, how was that experience? So
I
like
mean,
what was your story into this journey?
YC is amazing. Like, I mean, there's a few things which were amazing about, like, were amazing about the company. There's like, first of all, like the products, like, super exciting for me, and we started with CPG, but there's like way more that we want to do around like how we can help, like, optimize real world decisions. But YC in itself was amazing. Before that, I went to Cornell Tech. Cornell Tech was amazing as well. It's thanks to the Cornell Tech community that I actually met my co-founder. So I was in the what was it, like 2024 to 2025 Masters in Operations Research at Cornell Tech. And my co-founder was in the 2019 to 2020 Master of Science of Engineering in Operations Research. So, like
Oh wow, so
it's
that's different times.
different times. But like my co-founder was a friend of my brother who also went to Cornell Tech in computer science. Like, it's a big family thing, right? And so we met that way. It was like really amazing. I've met like amazing people through Cornell Tech. I had like some amazing friends at Cornell Tech who actually, they dropped out of Cornell to go to YC directly. Super inspiring. And I figured, I mean, like, there's this big thing we want to work on. For me, it's the future. These predictions model are the future. And so, we went to Y Combinator, which was an amazing experience. We just got out of it, just did demo day actually. And it's just like Cornell had already, like, reset the expectation on, like, what academic excellence can be. And then like Y Combinator just reset the expectations on what, like, a small team can build in like a couple months, and actually, like, they can deliver so much, and there's like so much that can be done in the Silicon Valley. So it's pretty amazing experience. I really love it. Yeah.
Did you come to Cornell Tech knowing you wanted to start a company? Yeah.
No, well, I've always had, I think, this kind of like entrepreneurial fiber to like within me. But actually, like, before doing Cornell Tech, I was at École Polytechnique in France, where I did a master's in economics, and before that, I was somewhere else in other university in France. And I thought for a time, well, I might do like a PhD in, like, economics focused on behavioral simulations of, like, general population. So that's what, it's very close to what we do today. And then I figured, well, actually, like, I really want to do something for which I will see the results, like, more directly. And I was like, I mean, like, Cornell Tech is amazing on entrepreneurship, and like the US just this amazing opportunity. And so I came here. I met amazing people, amazing team that inspired me, and I was like, I mean, I have nothing to lose. When you apply to YC, you have nothing to lose. Like, worst case scenario, you waste like 20, 30 minutes on the application, and
Mhm.
best case scenario, it can change your life. So, like, I had nothing to lose, applied, like, thankfully I got in. It was like an amazing experience, and yeah, very happy about that.
Very cool. Awesome. Thanks for sharing.
No, absolutely. Well, Tony, thank you so much for the invitation. It's always a pleasure to talk to you.
Okay.